Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to MYC Uncensored, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Satini, and as you can see by the title, today we'll be talking about alcohol, drugs, vaping, and peer pressure, all that fun stuff. So I guess in general for the podcast, we won't really go into too much detail because you would have learned it in school through ads and all that kind of stuff. But if you do want us to go further into detail, then just let us know that you would like that kind of podcast episode. So as we know, alcohol, drugs, and vaping can vary widely due to factors such as individual experiences, cultural influences, peer pressure, and educational backgrounds. Some people may view alcohol consumption as something that's socially acceptable and just a normal behavior. You probably grew up with it in an environment where alcohol was very prevalent with your family, friends, and all that kind of stuff. And in some cases, the youth or young people may view alcohol as a way to rebel against authority or societal norms, seeking independence and just experimentation. So while young people are aware of the potential risks of alcohol abuse, such as impaired judgment, accidents, long-term health consequences, young people still do it, right? And realistically speaking, it would be very, I guess, ignorant of me to think that there's some young people out there that do not engage in such activities, whether that's underage or just in general, right? And here we want to be as real and as authentic and genuine that, yep, there are people that do it. Will me speaking about it do anything like to change your decision? Probably not. Okay. And so when we talk about it, it's how can we do things safely? How can we party safely? How can we drink safely? How can we vape safely? And just take these into consideration. And as I said, young people do it. Not everyone, of course. It is crucial to recognize that these perspectives are not universal and there is a diverse range of attitudes among the young people, whether it is acceptable or not acceptable. Which, in saying, even if you are a young person that thinks it is not acceptable, there's no saying that you still don't engage in it, right? Because we all know the risks and the consequences of long-term health problems that come with engaging in these kind of activities. And I think the importance of this podcast episode and just a youth worker in general is talking about the prevention stages and focusing on empowering young individuals to make informed decisions and providing various resources for those facing challenges related to substance abuse, alcohol abuse, or use. And yeah, so we just kind of just want to talk about using alcohol and drugs with peer pressure, especially when this episode comes out. It'll be during December, so it's a time when the end of season celebrations with your friends and family, Christmas, um the end of year for school or work break or the new year. And most people engage in having a few, and it's just, I guess, remembering that we can say no. And with peer pressure, saying no or having the courage to say no can be very, very tough and easier said than done. Because, it to some people, drinking is cool, smoking is cool, and it's just a way to fit in and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's your body, your health, and thinking long term, like, do you want to live a fit and healthy life for the rest of your life? Right? And there's different ways to deal with it. So if you have someone that you can talk to, maybe someone you trust, like a family member or a teacher, or seeking professional help, I think is really important when it comes to kind of managing your alcohol, drugs, intake, and finding friends who respect your choices is very, very important, because then first, yeah, they won't push you to do things that aren't good for you, or they respect you as a person to think like, hey, you know, they're saying no, they don't want to drink or smoke tonight. That's completely fine, because there is no wrong in not having, like, there's no, you can still have fun without drugs and alcohol. Like, it's very, very possible. And if it's them that continuously peer pressure you to do that, then that's on them. And sometimes when people drink excessively or smoke excessively and take drugs, it's because they're going through something. And usually these are forms that they think, oh, you know, it'll fill that void of maybe things going on at home or relationships or the career. There are multiple and different reasonings why, and obviously we can't pinpoint and list all of them today, but yeah, there's that. Like, on it's not on you. Okay, so if you don't do it, that's all dependent on you. There are other people out there to become friends with. You just possibly haven't met them yet, but they are out there, because not everyone is so focused on needing to drink and smoke all the time. Yeah. So how do we drink safely, vape safely, and take drugs? Which, as I said, realistically, someone is out there doing it, you young people, and me telling you, no, that's bad, and no, you shouldn't do that, probably most likely will not stop you from doing it. So, yeah, how do we do it safely? And it's knowing our limits and sticking to that. If you know that maybe five, or let's say 3 shots, that's done, then try to not force yourself to go any further. Okay? Like, y- if you're on that buzz, stay on that buzz. That's it. There is no need to go further, because if you do go further, what are the consequences? Maybe you'll black out. Maybe something will happen. Maybe you'll wake up, I don't know, in the park, maybe. Yeah, so just at least drinking or doing these activities to the extent where you are at least aware of your surroundings, because your safety is like your top priority, is the top priority. And if you're with your friends, then also encouraging them to be mindful of their own limits, like especially if you know, okay, like my mate, they can only have 5 cups of, I don't know, of something, then if they're trying to tell you, no, I can drink more, I can drink more, it's just taking that initiative and saying, look, you've had enough. It'll be best for you to just calm down. Maybe it's time to go home now. Let's leave. Or, you know, drink water, sit down and get your mind right. So just taking those small stuff is just being aware of yourself and the others around you can make a huge difference when engaging in these kind of activities. And yeah, I guess I'll just kind of share some responses that we've had from some people in regards to this topic, from their perspective as young people, and maybe it'll be helpful to you guys. So, one of them is, during high school, most teenagers tend to have a rebellious phase, a phase that consists of engaging in underage drinking, drugs, and vaping. This is usually influenced directly or indirectly by friends, a term known as peer pressure. Peer pressure is when people do certain things to feel accepted, wanted, valued by their friends. This is why it is important to find friends that you can have fun with, that don't need to break the law or force you to in an attempt to be cool. However, that isn't easy for everybody, and it's hard to say no when you have no one else to turn to. There is a certain pressure to fit in, otherwise, you'll be isolated or an outcast. It's hard to be happy without friends, especially during high school, as they get you through tough times and provide support in the form of care, love, and laughter. But as much as you can, try to resist the urge to succumb to underage drinking and doing drugs and vaping. You are not a bad person for trying to fit in, but remember every action has consequences, and these acts could negatively affect you and your future. Decide what you're willing to sacrifice, a bad set of friends or your future. Damn, that was a good one. Another one is there is no long term benefit for you if you are peer pressured into partaking in these types of activities. Tell the girls that social drinking and drug taking or vaping could have the potential downward spiral into a full blown addiction. Damn. It's important to prioritize your safety and health over peer validation. I get that it often feels like you have to do what others are doing in order to fit in, but take a step back and really think about it. If you take that time, you'll realize that there is no need to drink or vape to be cool or fun. That's just a myth. And that's not to say you shouldn't indulge at all, because everyone is naturally curious. It's just important to know your limits and to maintain them regardless of any peer pressure. The last few is if the pressure is significant enough to coerce a person to take drugs, vape, and alcohol, then boundaries and a lack thereof should be considered. And last one, the first thing to keep in mind is that alcohol, drugs, and vapes are not good for our health at all. We might be too young to say that we have understood the consequences. Additionally, the friends you might get through doing these things might not be true friends after all. Friendship is more about understanding each other rather than just doing some activities that are forbidden, in quotes, for young people together. Furthermore, you can define which way is cool and don't let other people influence your decision. It is always important to have our own judgment and opinion about things. Those were great. They summarized everything that I've already mentioned. And if you've reached the end, the basic tips is just remembering to know your limit. Because, of course, I know that some of you be doing it, and I can only educate you guys so much on, the long-term effects and short-term effects of it. And they teach you this in school and in the advertisements and all that stuff, but yeah, just remembering that you don't have to say yes to these so-called friends that are peer pressuring you to do these kind of activities, and that there's no long-term benefits in partaking in it, and that there are other people out there that it's not their whole personality, or not something that their friends are required to do. So there are other people out there that that don't drink and vape and take drugs that you could be friends with too. They're out there, and it's understandable to want to fit in and stick with the crowd that but when you get older, you kind of, yeah, you will definitely realize that some of it was just not worth it. And yeah, that's not to say that you can't have the experience. That's all totally up to you, depending on how you grew up and the your cultural background, your beliefs, your values, your ethics, all that. But yeah, all I have to say is that be safe, especially during this holiday season. If you're not listening to it in the holiday season, then just be safe in general. Remember all these important things. And yeah, if you have any questions or topics that you think that we should speak about on another podcast episode, then all the links are down below. You can submit them anonymously or contact us through email, and we'll get back to you ASAP. But once again, thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.